Hi, I am Emerson D. Cumlat Jr. I'm a student of Masters of Engineering in Electronics Engineering and taking Research Techniques subject. In this video, I'm going to present to you my final research presentation. So, I have chosen this topic, Fiber-Based Access Implementation in the Fijian Telecommunications Sector. I've chosen this because I'm currently a engineer working in Fiji as a fiber network designer in a telecommunications company. So I have this outline. I will be introducing the topic, and I'll be discussing some of its related literature, the methodology, and lastly the conclusion. I researched this to outline the current fiber wireline based access technologies that are available in the Fiji. So in Fiji market, there are three dominating telecom companies, and some are smaller internet service providers. So these three companies are named as Telecom Fiji, Vodafone Fiji, and Digicel Fiji. So Fiji's wireline access architecture is mainly dominated by copper-based networks such as twisted pair and coaxial cable networks, particularly hybrid fiber coax. I would like to introduce first the country. It has a population with just less than 1 million, and it's an island country in Melanesia, part of Oceania in South Pacific Ocean. Around 50% of people here are under 27, more or less 27 years old, making it the nation with the youngest population in South Pacific. There were about 818,000 internet users here, and the internet penetration is about 87% according to the survey. The most recent survey is year 2023. And it is a home of 551,000 social media users in January 2023, equating to 59% of the total population. Total of 1.28 million cellular mobile connections were active in early 2023, with this equivalent 137.6% of the total population. So that means there's a high demand of broadband services in the country. On this research, we have to determine the problem of what has to be resolved. So even though the amount of households with internet connection is so large, not all of them have fixed broadband internet access. Due to geographical configurations, there are relatively few places in Fiji where the network has been deployed owing to the highest cost and challenge associated with the implementation. So our objective is to determine the best wired-based access network solution suitable for this country's need for both commercial and residential broadband. So we go to the review of related literature. Fiber-based wireline technology solutions in Fiji. FTTH solutions are not few in Fiji's telecommunications industry. Nonetheless, the fixed access network is dominated by hybrid fiber coax. In recent years, Fiji's fixed access market has been seen an increase in the share of FTTH systems. To gain a better understanding of how the FTTH architecture has evolved over time, the graph in this presentation depicts the market share depending on the technologies introduced in Fiji during this decade. I just want to discuss to you the historical background of the wireline access technologies in Fiji. So with the new Telecommunications law in place, FTA, or the Telecommunications Authority of Fiji, began operating in 2004, playing a vital role in establishing an autonomous and competitive market, paving the path for Fiji's information society development. So now Fiji offers both point-to-point and point-to-multipoint topologies for its FTTH solution. The biggest challenge in completing the task in rolling out FTTH was the construction in rural areas, which posed technical but mostly budgetary constraints. Building a new docks, installing new pits, civil works, and running of fiber cables are costly, and it takes time for the Fijian country to complete its rollout for the whole country. I'll be discussing you the methodology on how we resolve the objective. So we have three telecommunication providers in Fiji, and I'll be discussing what solution and what technology have they used for them to provide services on their customers. Let's start with Telecom Fiji Limited. TFL is one of the Fiji's early internet service providers, having been established in 1996. For some years, TFL was a local ISP, provided internet services to commercial clients using wireless point-to-point networks. But in 2005, it launches its first fixed wireline services, which is HFC, using data over cable service interface specifications, the DOCSIS standard. So also, TFL chose to deploy GPON with a single fiber from the central office to the distribution cabinet. We often call this as a fiber to the node or fiber to the cabinet. A 64-port splitter is employed. Each potential customer receives a single fiber from the distribution cabinet with up to 64 GPON homes. So for every one GPON port, it gives 64 lines for every one single core fiber. The next telecom provider we'll discuss is Vodafone Fiji. It's a public business. It traces its origin back from Fiji's previous post, telephone, and telegraph. So they are previously a government-owned company. So VFL deployed an ADSL network structure which connects consumers to DSL access multiplexer, or the DSLAM, either in the central office or in the field, depending on the network coverage. So Vodafone Fiji uses copper in DSLAM or DSL, digital subscribers line technology. VFL is also deploying a point-to-point topology with FTTH architecture for commercial users. It uses one fiber pair to give customer service. Digital Fiji is the third telecommunications company in Fiji, which is founded in 1995 by a modest IT firm and provide IT solutions ranging from PCs to printer. So it was re-established again by 1999 and began operating as a local ISP. Like TFL, they also offers FTTH solution with a point-to-point topology to its commercial clients. So we'll discuss here the conclusion of our objective. So we conclude that residential broadband services employ both copper and fiber, HFC and VDSL. For commercial clients, all operators use FTTH network, including point-to-point, and more recently, point-to-multipoint solutions. In recent years, TFL and VFL have begun to install a FTTH network in the form of point-to-multipoint service for residential clients. Although point-to-point may give more bandwidth per customer than point-to-multipoint, it has already been determined that a combination of point-to-point and point-to-multipoint solutions will be the best, future-proof option to meet the diverse demands of various sorts of clients. Recommendation. So, because Fiji is a tiny nation, it is ideal for performing field tests for future telecommunications network equipment that has recently been evaluated under controlled conditions in a laboratory setting. Multi-core optical fiber in an optical access network and wavelength division multiplexing passive optical network, WDM PON with injection lock Fabry-Perot laser are two technological possibilities awaiting field testing. So the last slide, correspondence table by ACP. Our objective here is to determine the best fiber-based access network solution suitable for Fiji's need for both commercial and residential broadband. So our methodology we have used is to study the technology used by 3 major ISP in the country: TFL, Digicel, and Vodafone. And all of them are using FTTH. And but Vodafone uses DSL technology, and both uh, Vodafone and Digicel are cellular operators. We conclude that residential broadband services providers employs copper-based networks. Since copper is widely deployed for commercial clients, all operators use a FTTH network, including point-to-point and more recently point-to-multipoint solutions. Recommendation: multi-core optical fiber in an optical access network and wavelength division multiplexing, or WDM-PON, with injection lock fabric pair laser are 2 technological possibilities awaiting field testing. Thank you very much.